Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, I just wanted to tell you about something that's happened over there down under in Australia. And I just thought it was relevant because we have seen this lady quite a few times. We've seen this lady speak quite a few times. And this is the New South Wales Commissioner, uh, Karen Webb. She has resigned before the end of her term, if you like. So she's been New South Wales Commissioner only for a short few years. And during her tenure, of course, there's been some really big incidents. The most remarkable, I think, or the most controversial was the tasering of the 95-year-old woman in the care home by a police officer who was recently found guilty. I think of manslaughter, I suppose. But I have made a video on that. I'm going to put that link in description. And Karen came under a lot of criticism for her dealing with that case and trying, sort of almost being accused of cover up. This poor old lady who had dementia, and I think was she really a threat? She was wandering around the care home on a Zimmer frame. When you see the video, which initially Karen had said should not be released, but it was eventually released, to see the video of this lady. She was tasered by a great big policeman who really, could he not have dealt with that old lady without tasering her? And of course, because of her age and frailty, she fell to the floor. She was very, very poorly. She was taken to hospital, where she subsequently died, bless her. So that was the main controversial, but there's a few others of controversies. And, I have to say, I've been sort of researching into it, and it seems like she did do some positive things. She has done some positive things during her tenure. But basically, I think Karen's problem was she didn't come over well. When she was talking to the media, etc., she came over as very uncertain, very sort of, she was the one that said, what was it? Haters gonna hate. She used a quote from a Taylor Swift song once while she was being interviewed. It's thought, her communication skills weren't good, and it's a shame because she's a woman in that job. And sometimes when women are put into these jobs, we do expect a little bit more. As a woman, you want them to prove that women are perfectly capable of doing these jobs and will do it well. And it's probably true that women come in for more criticism maybe than men. I don't know. But let's have a look at how the news broke when she announced it. Let's see. No, that's not it. That's some pictures of her. I've got a lot of windows open this morning because I've been looking at a couple of other cases. Oh, I just want to show. So this is my video. It's in my I have a playlist of Australian crime, and a policeman tasered a 95-year-old woman in a care home. So if you want to see the full story of that, I'll try and remember to actually put the link in the description, but you can find it on my channel under that title. Policeman tasered 95-year-old woman in a care home, and he was found guilty. And that poor lady, didn't bring her back, but he was found guilty. So that was one of the things that Karen was criticised for. But it wasn't the only thing.
The New South Wales Police Commissioner, Karen Webb, is expected to leave the job imminently. ABC understands she'll resign after 3 years in the top job. Karen Webb became the first woman to hold the position in the state when she took over from Mick Fuller in 2022. Reporter Sarah Garethy is with me in the studio with more details. Hi there, Sarah. So what do we know?
Well, look, we haven't heard yet from Karen Webb herself, but just after midday today, the state government has confirmed that she will be leaving the job on the 30th of September. They say that will, she's announced to effectively give her time to go into retirement, and also for the government to recruit, obviously, for that position, because we know that it is always one that is very hotly contested. Now, the Police Minister, Yasmin Catley, made this announcement during question time at State Parliament. She paid tribute to Karen Webb as an extremely distinguished leader who'd had an extremely distinguished career. She said that she had nothing but thanks, and she described her as a force for change and reform. Here's a little bit of what Yasmin Catley had to say.
Commissioner Webb has had an extremely distinguished career, marked by exemplary service. I have nothing but heartfelt thanks for her incredible work and admiration for her.
Did you say distinguished there or extinguished? Let's have a look. I thought she said extinguished.
I have nothing but heartfelt thanks for her incredible work, marked by exemplary.
Here's a little bit of what Yasmin Catley had to say.
Commissioner Webb has had an extremely distinguished career, marked by exemplary.
She said extinguished. She definitely said extinguished. Do you think that was deliberate? She has had an extremely extinguished career. She actually did say that. Let's try again.
Commissioner Webb has had an extremely distinguished career, marked by exemplary service. I have nothing but heartfelt thanks for her incredible work and admiration.
Well, I don't know if that was a Freudian slip or a deliberate slip. That's a big difference between extinguished and distinguished. And she is reading it off a paper, for God's sake. Maybe she realised what she said and she did. No, honestly, sometimes I do think I'm in the twilight zone.
For her many significant achievements. When others would be happy to stick with the status quo, Karen Webb has strived for more. She is a true trailblazer.
As we said, Sarah, Karen Webb was the first woman to lead the force in New South Wales. Her leadership hasn't been without...
They're not even remarking on it. She said extinguished. Oh, God. Must be me.
Controversy, has it? So has her departure come as any surprise?
Well, not entirely. There have been rumours swirling for a number of months now that she was about to depart, but even just a couple of months ago, she strongly denied that. So during her time as police commissioner, she's really made a mark in a number of areas, particularly going out and saying that she wanted to be somebody who advocated for children, both as victims and also perpetrators in crimes, and also for women. She recently announced a internal review into police culture after the ABC did a series of stories pointing out some toxic elements that were within the force. So she's certainly been a reformer and had a number of credits to her name. She saw the police also gain a historic pay rise, the biggest pay rise that they've had in history, 19% over 4 years. But as you...
Yeah, so there's a couple of positive things that she's done during her tenure. I feel like I've seen quite a lot of her. I mean, I'm not Australian, so I hope my Australian followers, maybe you'll let me know what you think. You're actually affected people maybe in that area, know a bit more about her than I do, but I feel like I've seen her on a regular basis because another crime she was sort of dealing with and didn't seem to deal with very well was this crime, this Australian policeman, Bo Lamar, who killed a couple. He killed Australian TV personality Jesse Baird and his boyfriend Luke Davis. And it was said she didn't deal with that very well, I remember. Yeah, this was him. I think he was handing himself in. Yeah. But it was said that she didn't deal with this particularly well either. But, I don't know. I think the problem with Karen they say, has been her communication skills. And I think every time she's been interviewed, with these big things going on, she hasn't come over very well. And that doesn't mean that she's not good at a job. Not everybody's good at the sort of media side of it. But I do think when you're the commissioner, you do have to, you're the person who has to talk to the media, etc. So, you do need some good communication skills. It's part of the job, isn't it? So, yeah, she never comes over very well. And that doesn't mean that maybe she's doing a lot better behind the scenes. But the way she comes over, she always comes over as uncertain.
You mentioned there were a number of controversies, particularly when she first came to the top job. She initially faced probably her first real controversy over her handling of the tasering of 95-year-old Claire Noland in Cooma by a police officer. And also, similarly, she was criticised over her handling of the murders of Jessie Baird and Luke Davies. Now, in both of those circumstances, it was really her communication of those issues that were criticised rather than the actual police work or the police investigation, the conduct of the force. But I should say that those two issues really were much earlier on in her career. So certainly she has been criticised as being not a very good communicator, perhaps not able to handle the criticism very well. She famously quoted Taylor Swift lyrics when criticised about her handling of the murders of Jessie Baird and Luke Davies.
Haters gonna hate, which maybe she likes Taylor Swift. There's nothing wrong with that in her private life. But you don't expect a police commissioner to quote Taylor Swift, do you? Or, I mean, to be fair, Taylor Swift was doing that tour at that moment, and she was probably sort of high on everyone's list of thoughts. But it's like, it's just not what you do, is it? If you're commissioner of police, whether you like, you might love Taylor Swift in private. But I don't think you can use Taylor Swift as your way of communicating, quoting, or maybe not. Maybe that's a good way to communicate because Taylor Swift is popular amongst young people. I don't know, but yeah.
By saying haters going to hate. But since that time, the controversies have been a little bit less. And certainly there would be people in the force who say that she's faced plenty of internal criticism and politics over her leadership. And there's also been segments of the media who've been extremely critical during her time in the top job. And so obviously that's put her under a lot of pressure during that time.
Okay, Sarah, thank you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, any woman is going to come in who's in a position of power like that is going to come under a lot more criticism than a man. So, let me know what you think. Anyway, she's gone, or she will be going. She's given in her notice. She's going in September. It's a shame. Maybe she's only just getting into it. They were saying that the criticism has died down, but maybe there's not been any big things, for her to cock up. I don't know. So it felt like, they were massive things that happened. Massive, especially. Well, not especially either of them. They were both massive things. That's a TV personality who was murdered, and his partner by a policeman, it's a massive thing. And then there was a 95-year-old woman on a Zimmer frame, tasered by a great big police guy, and died as a result of it. She just didn't deal with those cases. Now, I know you have to stick up for your force, but you have to acknowledge when they do things wrong as well as when they do things right. The guy that tasered the 95-year-old woman was clearly a ridiculous thing to do. And then, of course, Jessie Baird, he was famous personality. Just because it was a policeman that killed him and his partner, you can't cover it up, And then there was a lot of controversy. There'll be videos that I've done about it at the time. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know, as always, I'm interested in your comments, particularly from people from Australia. What do you think? Was she? Will her legacy be a good one? You know, quite often when we saw it in the UK with Cressida Dick, with the unfortunate name that she had, sort of really, you know, I don't think she did anything for women. Don't think women felt the benefit of a woman police commissioner, you know, and she sort of left under a shadow as well. But, you know, it could be a gender thing. It could be that they face so many more sort of problems. I don't know. You know, let me know what you think. Will it be, you know, I doubt if it'll be a woman the next time, though, unfortunately, when you get things like this that happen. You know, it doesn't really do anything for women, does it? If you know, it's a difficult job, and it's probably 3 times more difficult being a woman in that job. There'll be a lot of, you know, envy from the male sort of, you know, the police force in general is quite misogynistic, isn't it? I hope she did what she could, you know, well, I'm sure she tried to do what she could to alleviate that, but I don't know. Hopefully she was successful. Only time will tell. Okay, so I thought I'd just let you know. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to press notifications. And remember to press the notification bell, but press all notifications if you don't want to miss notifications. Because even if you press the bell, if you don't press all, you will not get notifications. Anyway, I'll see you real soon in the next video. Thanks so much. May your God go with you. And to her, to Karen, thanks for your service. Bye.